Alright everybody, welcome back to Conqueror and Commander. Today I'm going to be looking at the Mirror Mastery Precon deck for Commander. Now these Precon decks came out last summer, but I've been noticing recently that a lot of people have been getting more interested in playing Commander, and a lot of them have been asking, number one, what's the easiest way to get involved with Commander, and number two, whether or not the pre-constructed decks were decent enough to play on their own. And I figured, well, I'd seen people try and play with them in the past, but I hadn't really actually sat down with any of them. And what I wanted to do was actually show you guys some gameplay videos, see how they do without any changes, point out strengths and weaknesses, and just discuss the pre-con decks themselves and whether or not you may want to pick one up. So all of these are still available on MTGO. For $30 a pop. I'm not sure what their availability is offline. But the Mirror Mastery deck has Riku of Two Reflections as its commander. Riku is a pretty powerful commander. A lot of people know about him. He's able to copy your instants or sorceries, and as well as make tokens of your creatures. So when you come out and you play with him, a lot of people expect big things out of you, but just so you guys know, the pre-constructed deck isn't built to be a powerhouse. Let's just take a quick look at a couple things here first. The first is the stats on the deck. It has an average converted mana cost of 4.19, which is a little high, but not real high. The deck curve is really wonky. There's only one other card with a CMC of 5, but there's 13 cards with a CMC of 6. So that's something to keep in mind when you play this deck, is that sometimes you can have a lot of stuff with high converted mana costs. Fortunately, the people that made this deck took this into consideration when they put it together for you, and they did two things. Number one, they made sure it had a lot of land. There are 41 lands in this deck. Number two, they made sure that it had a lot of ways to help you get land onto the playing field. So let's just take a look at the lands that we got. I played like 7 or 8 games with this deck, and I never really had a problem with the mana base. I think right now, as it is, it's pretty good. The two cards that are a little different or unusual are Homeward Path, which actually really frustrated at least one blue player that I played with, such that he ended up having to steal it so that he could steal other stuff as well. And then Fungal Reaches, which allows you to store up some land or mana as well. So honestly, I might cut 1 or 2 lands and drop it to like 39, but I wouldn't really mess with the mana base that much. As you'll see here, I've got an empty column right here. The cards that I'm going to put over here are the cards that I would automatically remove. Let's take a look at the mana help that this deck provides. First of all, every one of these decks has a Soul Ring, which is great. Armillaria Sphere is really good too. My problem with this deck are the Signets. Signets tend to be on the receiving end of a lot of splash damage. Austere Commands and stuff like that will blow them out of the water. I would replace each of these with some sort of card like Explosive Vegetation type card, or even better, something like Wood Elves that can put cards or stuff directly into play. Coiling Oracle would be another card that you could replace them with. I don't like the Signets in a deck that has this much green in it. Prophetic Prism was god-awful. I hated this card with a passion. That card needs to go out as well. Now, Collective Voyage is a Join Forces card that I wanted to hate, and I wanted to hate badly, but I ended up drawing this several times and playing it. And I'll be honest, it ended up helping the deck a ton. You're helping your opponents as well, but it ended up being pretty good a lot of times. It helps thin out your deck when you pull 10 basics out and put them directly into play. And I want to say that I would keep it in the deck. honestly. Magus of the Vineyard I would take out as well because all your opponents get to use the mana before you do. These other cards like Valiant I'm fine with. Crows and Tusker is a good card. Explosive Vegetation, the Cougar, Cultivate and Kadama's Reach, Elvish Aberration, and Garrick. All these are good cards. Honestly, if you just wanted to play this as your ramp, plus like a Coiling Oracle or something else similar, you could get away with it pretty well. Right here is the deck's major weakness. It has practically no card draw whatsoever. It's got Edric, and it's got Brainstorm. And it's got one or two cantrips, like the Prophetic Prism, and a couple other cards. This deck desperately needs card draw. It doesn't matter if it's Mind Spring or Brain Geyser or even Magus of the Future or Future Sight, so that you could dig deeper into your deck. Hunter's Insight, Momentous Fall, anything, any additional card draw would be very helpful in this deck. So that's one of the first things I would do, is get anything like Hunter's Insight or something that could just help you draw cards, because there's plenty of times where I was down to like one or two cards on my hand by turn 6 and I had no way to fill it up, and Brainstorm by itself and Edric were just not enough. Let's look at the destruction that the deck provides. We've got Hull Breach, which is a great card. Fire Spout, it's generally okay. I mean, you can get rid of a bunch of tokens and stuff like that. Prophetic Bolt is a fun card more than it is good. Electrolyze, I did not like at all. That's a card I would probably take out. It's got Savage Twister and Disaster Radius, both of which are decent ways to wipe the board. And Disaster Radius also does a good job of keeping your creatures intact. It ended up working out well for me. Vault Grinder, these evoke creatures are actually not bad in the deck. There's plenty of other ones I'm sure you could dig around and try and find if you want. Mole Drifter would be a great card to put in this deck. So I was fine with that. Ruination, I only drew once, I think, and it didn't even really matter in the game I drew it. I could see how this could be a powerful card, but you have to expect that if you play a Ruination on like a 5-color deck, you're going to get a lot of auto concessions. So that's purely a player's choice whether or not you want to keep it in there or not. Chain Reaction is good. Tribute to the Wild, I didn't like that much. It just it always ended up getting like some weird mana rock instead of somebody's sword that I really wanted it to go away. I think more pinpoint destruction, stuff like Indrik Stallhowler would be good, instead of just this Tribute to the Wild. Acidic Slime would be another card that would be great. Fire and Ice was poop. I hated it. It never did anything good for me. The deck does have some decent recursion elements. Artisan of Kozilek was great. Knucklevi is good. Knucklevi would be good if there are more blue instants that you could put in the deck. Stuff like Opportunity, I think, is an instant, and his card draw as well. So, or Mana Drain even would be helpful. Vengeful Rebirth is good, and Deadwood Treeful. All these worked out really well for me. These are the beaters in the deck. Now, interestingly, the deck only has 24 creatures. I would probably up that if I could. I would get that up to like 28 or possibly even 29, just because when you're copying your dudes, you're going to be able to make more threats out there and put them out on the table. Baloth Woodcrasher. This is a fun, goofy card that works well with stuff like the Join Forces card. I would keep that. Rapacious One, Avatar of Fury. These are all fun cards. Magmatic Force was a friggin' bomb in this deck. He's probably the best creature in the deck. I had a lot of fun with that guy. Conundrum Sphinx, awful. Horrible card. Conundrum Sphinx would work better if you had Sensi's Divining Top, or Sylvan Library, or Miri's Guile, or Cream of the Crop. Like, any number of cards would make Conundrum Sphinx good. But The deck has practically no way, other than brainstorm, for you to figure out what's on top of your library. And then if your opponents have the way to figure out what's on top of their library, they benefit from it more than you do. I would get rid of that. I'd also get rid of Intet for practically the same reason. Intet is a big creature. She is a 6/6 flyer, but again, you never know what's on top of your library. On top of that, she's legendary, which means that you can't copy her with Riku's ability. So Sphinx of the Magosi is even a better card, so that you could continue your card drawing as well. Trench Gorger, you have to realize that the land exiling ability is a May ability. You don't have to do it. It can just be a 6/6 trampler. But if you really want to thin your deck out, you can do it. I didn't think it was that bad. Hydra Omnivore, one of my favorite cards in the deck. I liked it a ton. Animar really suffers from the fact that, again, there's only 24 creatures in the deck. If you want to up the creature count to like 28, 29, 30, you can definitely keep Animar in. Other than that, he just acts as a speed bump due to his protection abilities. I don't know. I would probably keep him in if you did what I wanted you to do. Call the Skybreaker is pretty good. Simic Skyswaller is also pretty good. All these are your pump cards for your creatures or other people's creatures. Colossal Might, I don't know. I'm iffy on this card because I did use it one time to push an opponent's big creature damage through. It's a significant, plus on the power side, +4, and it gives creatures trample. I might keep that. Invigorate, however, I would not. I found it wasn't really worth it in any situation that I came across. The Vows as well. I wasn't a huge fan of the Vow of Lightning or Vow of Flight. Vow of Wildness, however, just giving any big dude trample seems like it was pretty good, so I would probably keep that one. The deck has no tutors other than Fierce Empath. I would keep Fierce Empath. I would probably include Mystical or Personal Tutor. Either of those cards would probably be useful in here. Going back to the Destruction, the deck doesn't have any real way to reset the board. I think that if you include an Oblivion Stone or something like that, it would be pretty helpful as well. And if you did do that, I would include Fabricate as another tutor. Alright, next up, we've got kind of like your random stuff. Death by Dragons, I never drew. I wanted to draw it, I can't really tell you whether or not it's a good card or not. I would keep it in for right now. Aether Snipe, however, was poop. Hated it. It was rare when there was something significant that came out that I was like, okay, I'll bounce this and this will really screw somebody. It never happened like that. Ray of Command was fun. I used it a couple times. Spell Crumple is good. Hunting Pack, meh. I don't know. It's a lot of mana. It's 7 mana. Lightning Greaves, no. You definitely need that card. Always keep it. So you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards that you could pull out and probably put in card draw, either stuff like Rhystic Study, Moldrifter. Moldrifter would be great in this deck. Oblivion Stone. There's a bunch of different cards you can put in. Like I was saying, card draw is the number one thing it needs to fix. Number 2 is Pinpoint Destruction. And if you can combine those in a card like Moldrifter, that'd be great. Indrik Stomp Howler is another good one. You could even add another set of goofy cards like counter spells like Mana Drain or even a regular old counter spell would be good. So the deck wasn't very powerful. Because you're playing Riku, you're automatically on top of people are like expect you to do big things, but as soon as they start realizing you're playing with the precon, you sort of become an afterthought to a lot of people. I did only win one game while playing this deck, and that's because people just beat up on each other before I swooped in with Magmatic Force and kind of managed to kill everybody. But you know, it's not horrible. But the lack of card draw is really what kills this deck. If you're able to put in some card draw, you should do a lot better. Alright, I'm going to show you guys some game replays, and we'll see how it does, and you guys can figure out whether or not the Mirror Mastery deck is really worth it. Alright,